Okay, and hello and welcome to the IBB10 Sunday Vibe. As we all know, it is that reason because I like to be in bed by 10. I can't be up any later. But yet again, as you can see, I'm joined by Mr. Dugout Diaries himself, Mike McCaffrey. How are we, sir?
I'm very good, thank you, Lee. How are you?
Yes, not bad at all, mate. Thank you. Good weekend?
Easy weekend, man. I'm going away this week on work, so I've had to calm, chilled, relax. And to be fair, the weather's done me a favour anyway.
Oh, well, there we go. That's all right. It's not been too bad. And as we see in my bottom left, we have Mr. Billy, the Project Wood. How are we, sir? Good weekend?
Yeah, great. Hastings yesterday, 1-0 win against Jersey Bulls, which was a nice for them to keep a clean sheet, as we'll talk about Simo in a bit on Tuesday night. So Saturday was great. The fans got to meet the manager, David Illendorf, which was fantastic. It was well received. And today, no game for me, which has been brilliant. Got out to go and watch a game, and the best part of the weekend, getting to spend time with the kids. Like I said, I had to sneak on there right close to we went on live because I was putting my little one to bed. But it's been a great weekend, mate. How about yourself?
Yes, good, mate. Yeah, not too bad. I was at a game yesterday in the horrendous weather that we had through Sussex. Chris nodding his head down there. He knows what it was like yesterday. But yes, as you can see, we do have another guest tonight, and that is Broadbridge's Heath's own Chris Simmons. How are we?
I'm good, thank you, mate. Well, good to see you guys. Really good.
Yeah, good weekend for you and the club.
Yeah, it's been a great week, to be perfectly honest, with the results, and being at home is always nice. I mean, the weather was horrendous on Saturday for the ones that did go. But yeah, it's been really good, and then obviously a great cup draw as well. So things have been good this week.
Nice. So I think we should start with the Sussex Transport Motors Senior Cup draw that you got, and I believe you got Worthing at home.
Yeah, big tie for us. I think we obviously played Worthing in the I can't remember what it's called, the Charity Cup. It is, I think, when we won the league. So that was the last time that we played them. But it'll be great. It'll be a great day for the club. Obviously, a home draw was the important bit. So
nice. So getting that home draw against a team like Worthing, what are you saying to the lads when it comes to that game? Is that you turn around and go, boys, it's just another game, just prepare yourself and just doing what we've been doing all season?
Yeah, I mean, it's a funny one because the who you wanted sort of changed. For me, it was Worthing, it was Horsham, Worthing, Brighton under 21s at home. For the club's point of view, test yourself against somebody different. You don't really want Three Bridges or because they're in your league. Obviously the YM local derby is an interesting one.
Banana skin, that one. Right.
Yeah, well, no, I didn't want it because I've been in enough Horsham YM, Horsham Roffey derbies, so I know what the games turn out to be like. But obviously, then after the other night, when they sort of said they just wanted to play us because we were the easy win, and they wanted to kick us off the park, suddenly everybody in our squad suddenly wanted YM. I think they were actually quite disappointed about getting Worthing at the weekend, which was but no, I'd say the lads all want to test themselves against higher opposition. In pre-season we try and play the likes of Horsham and stuff like that. So really looking forward to it. We're certainly not looking at it as just a club funding day. It's we want to get through it, and at this stage, if you want to win it, you've got to beat one of these sides at least. So
and you beat my beloved Hastings to get through to that.
Tough game.
No, it weren't really. Don't lie to me.
No, it's tight. To be fair, as much as you say that, you boys had obviously a lot of guys cup tied and stuff like that. But even then, you know, the scoreline, you know, was big in the end, but the games are never easy games. And teams in our league, you have to play well against on the day, and we took all our chances.
Yeah,
you know,
I agree with that.
That's the difference is at this level. If you don't take your opportunities, no matter who you're playing, whether it's top of the league or bottom of the league, they'll score goals and they'll come back against you.
Well, yeah. On that note, obviously, disclaimer for Dave Orndorff there, because it always looks bad on paper when you get beat by a heavy scoreline. On that day, we had something like 7 or 8 cup tied, so he couldn't actually like Jake Lindsay, one of your ex-players, we had, drafted in. There was a centre half, a goalkeeper. It was quite hard for Dave, but it was, from my perspective, you still got to beat what's in front of you, and I think your team did a fantastic job. I was really impressed with the left back Charlie Gibson, who I thought played really, really well that day. Actually, a couple of times I've seen you guys play. Obviously, I saw you play Hastings under the last regime as well. I was at that game and very impressed with him. And and your right winger as well. He's something special. He is. Obviously, I'm putting him out here. It's not really good for you, but I think every time I've seen him play, he's a menace. He plays off the right.
I would say which one, because we've been rotating 3 of them. So
yeah, I won't say the names. So you don't
I think I'll probably know which one. But,
yeah, he was brilliant that day. And like you say, his margins though, I think just before after half time, we're 2-1 down. Freddie Legg has a really good opportunity and kind of tries to take it round the keeper, and your keeper recovers well and saves, and then you go and score to make it 3-1 straight after. And I think that probably killed the tie. And look, it was well deserved, absolutely well deserved. And I really wish you all the best against Worthing in the next round.
Appreciate that.
Chris, how you doing?
I'm good, thanks, mate. How you doing? You all right?
Yeah,
back from your travels?
Yeah, off again on Thursday. Going out to America this time, mate. Looking forward to it.
Just a short trip then?
Yeah, 19-hour round trip. Lovely. Can't wait. Anyhow, we spoke pre-season. Always been a supporter of what we've done. Truly appreciate that. You told me pre-season you find it tough to get the players in where you were, or maybe where you maybe felt a bit behind in the transfer market by a couple of weeks. I'm looking at where you are now. You're 6th. You won 10 games out of 18. You're a couple of points off the playoffs with a game in hand. Surely you're feeling good about the rest of the season.
Yeah, definitely. It's pre-season was toughest time I've had as a manager, and I know, you know, Billy would have seen between managers through and himself managing. It's when it's tough, it's really tough. I've never really been through a rebuild side like that. It's not something we've ever had to do. I've ever had to do as a manager. We've always had a group that have, you know, you might lose 1 or 2 and you might bring a couple in. So it was a bit, you know, so you always think the worst, and we had to get it right, you know, and you had to get the right players in. You know, a good few lads did stay loyal, which was amazing. But then it's just how the group merge. You can bring good players in, but it's how they it's how they gel as a side, and that's the bit that's really been so, you know, credit to the lads how well they've done in just becoming a you know, what looks like a team that's been together for a long time.
And credit to you on that, because we're nearly halfway point in the season, and with no disrespect to Broadwood Chief at all, I don't think many would have had you listed down as 6th in the table, like pushing on the playoffs.
I agree.
And I, like I say, I've seen you play a few times this year, and it's deserved that you are up and challenging. But it's credit to you, credit to the lads, and kind of credit to the consistency, even with the player changeover this year that Broadwood Chief have. And obviously that's partly, you know, I'll say partly, you seem to be the glue, Simo, on that. So the committee are fantastic there. Like, you know, like any of the non-league clubs, you need that behind the scenes, and we've got that, you know, and they put in the shift. And then the management team that have been now for sort of a few years have just been brilliant, you know. They've stuck to it. You suddenly have to change your plans much when you lose the players. You think you're just going to be working on shape and stuff like that, and all of a sudden you have to do a lot more. So that was great.
But yeah, I mean, it came together and came together pretty quick. I think we're playing much better football than we've ever played, which is great. So long may it continue.
Can I ask a question quickly on that? So I asked this of Jolsey when he came on with us a couple of weeks ago, and I also asked it of of the Relegate Priority manager last week as well, Dow. What's your aspirations like, and also what's the club's aspirations like? Are you one that wants to just continually pushing the club up and then go back and manage at a high level? Does the club want to operate Isthmian Prem and knock on the door like Horsham have done International League South? It'd be really interesting to kind of get an idea like under the bonnet of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult one because yes, I'd obviously love to see the club and me progress and manage higher. There's a lot of difficulties at this level. There's a lot of difficulties that managers potentially don't get when they go up. Players are contracted, etc., like that, which changes a lot. It's different problems, but in speaking to people like Dom, he said his hardest bit was with the players until they went on contract, and that changeover was quite a bit, was probably one of the biggest changeovers Horsham had. And I think so to get into that level, and managing higher and the team's higher, definitely is something I want to do. But on the other side of that, I don't think there's ever going to be enough money in it for me to do it as a job compared to my actual job. So there's limitations there. Do the club want to go there? Yes, but they want to do it the right way. They don't just want a big investor to come in and then put the club at risk. They want to do it a biological way in growing and stuff like that. And so that might limit it depending, but that I think doing it that way gives the club a much better stability. We get the youth set up right, we get all the sides up right, and then hopefully push it up and through.
That makes sense. Makes total sense.
Chris, if Broadbridge Heath don't win the league, who wins it this season, do you think?
To be fair, I think Bridges have been superb. I mean, they've got they've got a great front line, and I think in this what we found this year is it sounds really silly because scoring goals, obviously you got more chance of winning. But it's amazing how it changes games that you would normally draw, or all of a sudden you're winning. I think we've won now 9 in 11, whereas last year we probably would have had 3 or 4 draws in that. And just scoring a few more goals or having people that are scoring the goals makes such a difference, and they've got that. I also think they're having their new pitch and stuff. It gives them a bit of a setting, but there's so many good sides, your Whiteleafs, your Croydon, they're all just waiting for that slip up. And, it's what the squads are going to be like. I think Faversham have obviously got probably the biggest sort of, say budget, because I don't know budgets, but I would say they're looking like they're in the right place to do it and to go up. But again, I think the problem is in that top 6. I think anybody can beat anybody on the day, and it's just going to be who's most consistent and who gets a bit of luck. Referees' decisions, injuries, suspensions. It makes a massive difference. We've seen before in teams that finish 4th in the playoffs or last place still manage to go up. You could finish 2nd and then not end up going up. So,
boy, we had that with look at last year with Ramsgate and Sittingbourne. How good Sittingbourne were and the points that they had and how robust they were, what they did in the FA Trophy. And look, they finished 2nd, they don't go up. And then they lose Ryan Maxwell this year. Let's be honest, their form wasn't very good when he left either. There's 6 points in 6 games. They're sitting back in where they were prior to him as such. And you look at it and you go, moments, and like if you miss your moment, it can be years before you get your moment again.
100%. Players also know that they've only got a limited amount of times to have a go at it. So you get up there and you miss it, and you sort of go, especially when they're players that probably could or should be playing higher anyway.
Yeah.
And they've dropped down to win the league. And if you don't win the league, then they could easily just step back up again.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. So, Chris, we're gonna ask. We asked Dale and we asked Gilesy. So, without hopefully getting you in trouble, and I hope it doesn't. But from this season to last season, what would you say the quality of sort of refereeing's been? Would you say it's better this season to what you saw last season, or last season to now?
No, it's yeah, probably. I've got to be careful what I say. No, I think I would say I don't think it's any better. I wouldn't say it's any worse. And to be fair, it's not a job I'd want to do.
No.
But I think some of the decisions that are going in, talking to a lot of managers, and it seems that there's big decisions going wrong. And I don't think the FA help with the small rule changes all the times and stuff like that. They make it so much harder, but I've probably had the last 5 games that we've had really big contentious issues and even ones that haven't cost us a result in the end, that I've sent back to the FA and just asked queries about them for my own personal gain, to see if I'm wrong. So it's always interesting, but yeah, it's tough. It's a tough job made tougher by maybe the FA rules.
Yeah, the rule changes are killer. It's like this whole 8 seconds. I think great idea, right? Great idea.
That's a good idea.
But with it, a lot of the referees will count down. They go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, right? So the players are getting used to that. And then you meet the 1 or 2 referees that don't do it, and they just put their hand up, and the keeper's not looking. Because with all due respect, the keeper shouldn't be looking at a referee for a signal of how long he's got. He should be looking at where he's going to play the ball.
Yeah.
And then they blow up corner, and you think, well, ref, you didn't tell me, and so I don't have to tell you. But you get so accustomed to a way. But like I say, the rule isn't completely set either way if you should or shouldn't. That it's another confusion added to about a million other confusions.
Yeah. The other thing is obviously the difference of, like, a keeper's just made a save, he's dived, he's on the ground, and already he's 4 seconds into it, just trying to get himself up and whatever like that. Yeah, I mean, it just leaves it so open for and it seems that it's going to be another one of them rules that it starts off being really sharp at the start of the season, and by the end of the season, the keepers are still taking 20 seconds. Yeah,
and not only that, like, I think the rule will change again. It won't be 8 seconds. It probably will be 10 seconds, and then it probably will have to be a verbal countdown. Like certain things will get changed with the rule.
Like a shot clock.
Imagine that. Every Isthmian ground, not only do we have to spend money on getting bench wear by the same brand and all this, but we'll have to put stop clocks in, like the basketball. It's never ending, Mike. It's never ending. But I think that's a really diplomatic answer there, Simo, on referees, and I agree, to be fair.
Yeah. I mean, it's all views of it. I'd actually say our referee Tuesday had a really good game. Certainly one of the better ones we've had this year. But if you asked the opposing manager, he probably wouldn't have thought that we did. So it's
I'm
tough.
telling you, our former secretary and one of our club officials definitely didn't. But maybe he doesn't like referees anyway. So he has his favourites and his non-favourites. And I think that even the bias in that sometimes comes from you as a club, because you'll meet, like, from being in a CEO, chairman, all the way down to a manager, like roles-wise in a football club. There's certain referees that come to your ground, and you're kind of, he's a good one. He's good. But it might be because he's made a biased decision, like not biased.
But just it went your way for 100%. Yeah, I get that.
And there's ones that
how many referees you reported when you've won a game? Do you know what I mean? No,
actually, no, one.
Really?
Three this year already.
3 this year?
I did one, yeah. I did one because he was so bad. I felt so bad for the opposition. Like, he was so bad, right? He didn't move. That's half the battle.
What do you mean he didn't move? Well, he's in the centre circle.
Yeah, I'm not gonna embarrass him here, but it was so bad, and we won. So there was no reason, but yeah, I gave. You have to sometimes on the old back in the county leagues, you do like you have to get, if it's 60 or under, you have to give a reason why you give them 60 or under. So
Right.
sometimes I'll be nasty and just give it a 61, right? So it's as low as it possibly can be without doing a report. But then when a report's needed, I'll go under. That's for sure.
That's brilliant.
I know. Yeah, I can be quite bitter, I guess.
Simo, so looking at this season holds, the players you've brought in, was it a big change around you had to do for players in and players out, or have you kept a core of your squad from last season?
No, it was a big change. So me and Mike spoke early doors, and I think probably if I looked the other night, it was probably 7 from a starting 11, or if you said from a starting squad of 16, probably 8, maybe more different this year.
Over half your squad gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and some of that was sort of, you know, natural. You know, people either moving away or you know, or retiring or bits and pieces like that. And then, you know, a lot of it, you know, we had four players drop down to Havesheath, Stenning, and then couple teams in our league went to teams in our league, but yeah, I say that everything happens for a reason. So we've ended up with what is a great squad. A couple of lads have come back, which is brilliant because they're top lads, you know. So you get a couple that have come back recently, last few weeks. So that's brilliant news as well. So it's always nice for them to come back because it shows they appreciate you know, before they left.
What was the biggest hurdle on that quickly? Like, for example, you had Golson, who's at Haywards Heath now, scoring lots of goals. When you lose goals, does that
it's massive? I mean, you were saying about nobody expected Broadbridge to do well in the first season. The first season in Isthmian, in January, we had 11 points and we were second from bottom. And we finished 9th in the end. And basically, the following year it comes round and everybody does their projections, and everybody projected us still to be that. Before that season, we were projected to be in the bottom 3, and we finished 9th. So the following year, they projected us in the bottom 4 again, and said that because our centre half was our top goal scorer, basically that's why they thought it was going to happen, because Tad was on 10 as our top goal scorer. So then Goldie came in and scored 23, you know, and we finished 12th or 13th. So to lose someone that's, you know, that's scoring 23 goals is obviously always gonna be hard to find, especially when you haven't got the finances just to go out and pick a top player like Franson or, you know, or somebody like that.
Yeah. So
it's always tough, but I think the big thing is also not just having one player scoring goals. If you can get 3 or 4 that are all chipping in, you know, as nice as it is to see somebody in the top 3 or 4 and the top goal scorers, if I've got 4 or 5 on 8s and 9s, I'd be much happier with that.
Yeah, I agree.
Just finally, Chris, from me, for people that don't know, can you just give a quick insight in what a week looks like to you behind the scenes?
Yeah, so Monday night, if we've got a Tuesday game, obviously it's players would have been arranged at the weekend, but Monday I'll be at the club getting the club ready, doing the bits and pieces for the Tuesday game. If it's not Tuesday, it'll be training, so we'll be there training at the club. Wednesday I do have a night off, which is sort of nice. Thursday, although Wednesday a lot of time now is my social media bit for the club, so we try and do a bit of advertising for the companies and stuff, sponsors. Thursday training and 23s, so we obviously get training in. Friday I don't work Friday. I'm quite lucky. We work like a dynamic week, so we work longer hours Monday to Thursday, so I'm off Fridays. So sometimes Friday during the day I'll meet up with the committee. We might have a bite to eat, do a little bit at the club. If we're at home, get ready for that. If we're away, start getting the stuff ready, load the car up, etc. from that. So it's pretty busy. Saturdays is a whole day.
Do you sleep well before the match?
Yeah, I don't have a lot of sleep, so
I'm like that.
5 hours probably. 5 hours is probably my normal night. But when I'm down, I'm down. A bomb could go off and it wouldn't wake me up.
On the other hand, if you've had a bad result on the Saturday,
it takes me hours, mate. It works both ways though. If you've had a really, really good result, so Tuesday nights are a killer, because if you've had a great result and you're absolutely buzzing, you come back, and as much as I need to go to bed because I've got work the following morning, I'm probably up for an hour and a half and social and looking at bits and trying to get the adrenaline out of me before I can go to sleep, basically.
Love that.
But it's so, like, the question I might just ask you, and what I've said before is, people don't actually realise, till managers talk about it and volunteers and players, they don't realise how much of the non-league level at this level actually takes up your evenings and your week. Because not only do you have a full-time job, but you've got another full-time job on top of that.
100% for the committee, the volunteers. Today I can guarantee there'd have been 2 or 3 committee members at the club checking over the pitch after the damage that we had, kit washing, getting the kit ready for Tuesday, because again it's another home day. For everybody, it's so huge. And you're right, a lot of players, but a lot of supporters don't really see that. They think we've got endless people, kit, like kit men. Kit men to do that. You've got people to do your social media. You've got people to do website. You've got people, and it just isn't the case. It's generally the same people doing a lot of the roles. So it is really good. And you need, well, the same for you guys, as in, whether it's wives, girlfriends, you need really patient, forgiving 100%. People behind the scenes.
That don't work for me.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm out too much. Like, I'm literally at the moment, especially with the Hastings stuff, it genuinely feels like I'm out all the time. Either at a game, training, taking a game, watching someone else, having a look at a player. It just feels.
You're still angling for a job somewhere as well.
I'm out. No, it's not even not angling for a job. Do you know, I'm actually really happy with the stuff we're doing at Hastings, but I always feel this similar. Like, even when you're in the dugout or not, if you're, I don't know, obsessed with football or obsessed with non-league football, you don't want to fall behind on what you know. So someone brings up a player name to you, you kind of want to be able to know that you've seen them play once at least, right? Or got an opinion on.
Yeah, definitely.
And I feel like something that's not left me, even before even decided to switch into men's management rather than being in the boardroom, was even when I was CEO of Hastings, you would see me down at Little Common under 23s, which I was at on Thursday, by the way, watching them. You would see me New Haven 23s. You would see me, if we didn't have a Saturday game, going somewhere, or a Tuesday night game, going to Ashford or going to East Grinstead, or going up to London to go and watch an SE Dons or someone like that, or whomever, just to kind of understand. Because I think we all have our player contacts and our player pool, people that we just have on WhatsApp and we talk to or we work with. But having that little wider network, that when you actually do pick up the phone to someone, you can talk to them about their game, and because you know what they're about. I think that's really powerful in recruitment.
I think it's also looking at what other managers and teams do.
Yeah.
If our game's off, the first, when we came down to you, and the pitch wasn't playable, and we ended up having to do the whole squad, where everybody was on the minibus and the management and coach team, we drove straight to Three Bridges to watch the Three Bridges game.
Brilliant.
And I'd have watched. I've watched our 18s a load this year, Isthmian and the county. But I've also been and watched Loffy under 23s and other side of that. And everybody goes, "What are you doing here?" And they think you're there to poach the players, but I love watching. I love watching games and learning and looking at different things, and that's also it. And so I've always felt that the more you put in, the more you'll get out.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's one of the biggest strengths is, with managers either coming through, it's just staying relevant, isn't it? Understanding. I think there's so many there is a lot of overly headstrong people that think they know their way, and it becomes a bit dinosaur. But if you are completely out there, always keeping yourself fresh, it doesn't matter how much, if you've been in the game 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, you've got to keep your finger on the pulse.
It's contacts, like you're saying. It's not. It's contacts, obviously, yes, with the clubs you're going to watch, but then it's other ones. Whether it's Dorking for a contact for loans, it's Wimbledon for what you can get. It's building and making bridges and stuff like that as well. So it's so important to stay up to date, like you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Absolutely. So. This weekend, there's been some results. There has been a lot of talking points. Probably a couple. Bill nodding his head. We know one point, but we're going to do this one first. So one of the talking points last night that we found out was Uckfield lost their manager after, would you say, a shock defeat against Loxwood, or... No,
I'll tell you why it wasn't a shock, and I have to be diplomatic on this as well, because Alex was my assistant manager last season.
Good guy, mate. Good guy.
Yeah, very good guy, right? And a passionate guy, and someone who does want to do well. And he came to Lancashire with me with the rest of my staff, and then decided the travel wasn't for him, and he wanted to be a manager, and ended up back at Uckfield, which, by the way, as I said to Alex, and he admitted this, I said to him before he took the job, I said, being a manager it's 24/7. It's 24/7. The delegation is the key, but you still are always on the phone doing stuff, and it's stressful, and it is. And and Alex has got a young family. Like I say, he's a good guy. He works hard, and his job. He's a hard worker. He's not a blagger. He works hard, and he would have wanted to succeed so much, right? And it was not nice seeing it not work for him. And I think it didn't work because we had an environment that we created last season, which he played a massive part of. So did Luke Carter.
What do you mean environment?
Lots of things like standards, expectations of players, the environment we created, the training facilities, everything was done a certain way, right? I went in there and I said, look, this is what I want to do, and I want to replicate it to Isthmian League standards. What would even National League, what would Aggie do? What would John Meaney do? What would Gary Elphick do? What I learned and helped build at Hastings was really important. Even at Uckfield at Step 6, we wanted to make sure the environment was unbelievable for the players, right? And they were coming in and they were buying into the style and stuff. And I would have been looking to kind of push that and do that. But the thing with him was, the thing for me was there was no budget. So we had a budget. It wasn't the biggest budget in the league by any moment, but you still, if you're paying someone a tenner, 20 quid, 30 quid, or whatever, if you're paying them that sort of money, you can guarantee, not guarantee, but you can, let's just say you can demand certain things. You can demand attendance, right? It's a lot harder when they're getting nothing and they're traveling quite far.
Yeah, I'll get that.
Can't even give them a tenner to be able to pay their petrol one way, I think that would have been hard for him. I think it didn't get off to a great start. I think that, recruitment wise, it wasn't easy for him. And I think then that spiraled into probably just trying to get any player in the door. As you do when you're struggling, it's like, oh, who's available? I have him. And it probably lost a little bit of what, again, Alex was a part of building with me and my mentality and my style. Whilst you're the manager, if the buck falls with you, you put staff around you that will help you achieve your kind of your setup and your aspirations as such. And I just think I went and watched them play Copthorne. They lost 9. No, not Copthorne. Sorry, Reigate Priory at home, and it was a 9-0. and there's players on that pitch that played for me, and there's players on that pitch that are very good and could play higher, in my opinion. Especially the goalkeeper who's now playing for Hastings, right? So he got pumped 9-0. He's now in goal for Hastings United, kept a clean sheet the weekend. Didn't play Tuesday because he was cup tied, because he played early for Uckfield in the competition. So there's players in that team that are good enough to play. Step 5, step 4, maybe. I think there and then, I think it's really hard, and I think I found this at Lancing, it's really hard to keep the players motivated when you are getting beat heavy. And it's really hard to keep them brought into what you're trying to do. So I think the last roll of dice, as I saw at the weekend, obviously Alex played in goal himself, which was probably based on the fact he couldn't get a keeper in for the weekend, which is never nice. But he went and he put himself in the sticks, which I was a bit worried about because he's retired due to concussion, so probably not the smartest thing to do. But he's gone and done it. His accountability, he's put himself in there. But I looked at the squad, the starting lineup, and no disrespect to the players, I looked at it and I didn't know hardly anyone. And I would call myself a bit of a connoisseur for county football, and I can look at a team and go, they're half all right or they're not. And it don't matter what coaching goes on in the week, how you set up. If the player quality is nowhere near it and the confidence is not there, it's a recipe for disaster and it's hard to turn around. So I think Alex has done the right thing by stepping down. Could it have been done earlier? I think probably. Now? What's that?
What happens now?
For Uckfield?
Billy Woods.
I doubt that very much, mate. But I think with Uckfield, they're in a really precarious position now. Really precarious. They bottom 3 go down in that league. Loses 7-0 to Loxwood. And by the way, no disrespect, Loxwood aren't very good either. Like, not very good at all. And they haven't won a game since August. That was their first win since August. So that tells you the story there. And now they just lost a 6-pointer. They got a 6-pointer with Saltdean on the weekend coming up for Uckfield. It's a real tough time. There's so many good people at that club. So many good people, you know, from Bob, who took the chairmanship when I stepped away from the club, to Nick Bignall, Tasha Hope, who's still behind the scenes there.
Nick's quality.
Yeah, Nick's a legend, and I've got a lot of time for Nick. And obviously Mally, who's the secretary as well, a lot of time for him, and all the helpers there. You know, Steve behind the bar. They're all really good people, and it's always the biggest thing I hate is the fact I left them lot. And they were stable and they stayed up. They pushed for the playoffs. They just didn't make it under Wilf Holman. But they're good people and they deserve the success. They don't deserve more pain and misery. But it's going to be tough. Whoever goes in there needs to rejuvenate. If you look at who they've got signed on, they've got some players still signed on to that football club. Like some players. If you can convince those players, a Riley Tate, a Billy Critt, like Macca Styles, Ollie Tomo's still signed on, Archie Carey, Connor Martin.
Where are they now, Bill?
What's that?
Where have they been?
They were not playing for it. They didn't, whether Alex wanted them or they didn't want to play for Alex, they weren't playing. So
they ain't been involved.
No, they're not involved. And that's no, like that. It might have been bad attitudes. I can't say anything because they were great for me, these players. They were brilliant. And they always were there and turning up and gave me everything and bought into what we were doing. So if they can get those players back in, then and go on the small run, then they get themselves out of the problem, right? Still early in the season, it's November, but it's such a tough gig with no budget. Like, it's tough. It's really tough. And I think
it shouldn't be at that level though, should it?
No, it's not. But the problem is, I think there's so much money going around now at that level.
Yeah, and I know, and I get that, and that is a problem. But part of it is if they had a good youth, if they were building up from there. Part of the big problem is when you have big change, managerial changes regularly, and then also the fundamental way of what you want to do for the club changes. You had big plans for it, which is great, and from there. But obviously, when that keeps changing, somebody else comes in and it's got slightly different or the background. Then you never get you never get stabilised, and then you don't. And I think that's part of the problem. But I think there are still so many good footballers there that will play for low.
Yeah, I agree.
But I also think it's the sometimes it's location based, how teams in and around your areas are doing. If there's teams that I don't know so many teams out that way, but the problem is if you've got 3 or 4 teams in and around your area that are doing better, even if the money's not there or the same, then players do get attracted to teams doing better than they do in the struggle. And the minute you start to struggle, it's even harder to recruit.
Well, yeah, even with look on their doorstep, you got Ringmer, and Ringmer play on a nice 3G pitch.
Lovely area.
And look, the Oaks, we made it look pretty at times, but it's not the greatest of pitches. We all know that. Whoever's ever been there, it is tough, but it should, like you say, at that level, it really shouldn't be about money. It shouldn't. But I think sometimes, like with the budget, it kind of allowed us to demand fitness levels, demand attendance, demand that, because otherwise we just wouldn't pay them or just wouldn't have them around and find them. So I think what he's found is when you're in a struggle, you've got to go and I need to grab that person. I need to grab that person. Or what am I going to do about that person? How am I going to deliver that? And I think it gets to a point where you end up, shitting yourself a bit because you think, fuck, I've got to put out 11 this weekend. I've got 12 available. I've got to put myself on the bench. And I think that's what's happened there. But look, I think it's a good club. The clubhouse is much better. There's a nice players' lounge. It's actually an attractive club, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's got a lovely bar.
I just think it needs someone to go in and stabilise it short term to then work out what they do long term. Who that is, I don't know, and I wouldn't want to throw names in it. I've had players tell me, a bunch of managers that are messaging them already saying, if I go in, would you stay or what have you? It's quite interesting to hear the names. I'm not going to drop them in, no exclusives. Nick knows them. Nick Bignell knows them because I've sent them to him, but no one else.
Put in the chat who it is, please.
Yeah, go on, Nick.
And then, in the private chat, yeah, maybe. And then, but look, I hope. I want to go and watch them play a few times this year. Still, I like going up there. I love seeing the people there. And look, hopefully they pull off the miracle.
Yeah.
So going on to a few. So we had another result yesterday was Lancing against Vardinians. You could say both struggle. Well, not could say, they're both struggling at the moment. So you look at that game, you think it's going to be a 0-0, as those sort of games are. But Worthing pulled out, I think it was a 1-0 win yesterday.
Lancing won 1-0,
yeah.
Which I say would really, it's helped their fight against the drop this season. But do they now, is that now where they're going to go on a 2-3 game run to get those points and give that momentum from that win and get going, or is it going to fizzle out next game? It's hard. It's hard to say.
Yeah. Lancing have threatened to do that a few times, haven't they, this season? They've nicked a good win and had a couple of good cup runs right at the start of the year. I genuinely believe, and I'm sure we'll talk about the game you went to yesterday, Lee, after this one, but I look at it and I go, that bottom 3, it's going to be whoever can pick up. I think all 3 could finish on really low points. So it's whoever picks up a couple of extra wins. I think Lancing obviously relying heavily on younger players. Vardinians, I've watched them play Forest Row. They're all right, but they're just, something's not clicking there. But they've not made they've stuck with it, and they're not making any changes by looks of things. Or I don't know if anything's been announced today. I don't know. I don't know what happened yesterday. I don't know how close the game was, or I know it's 1-0, but that could have been a 1-0 with Lancing absolutely dominating possession. It could have been a 1-0 with Lancing hit them on the counter late on. I haven't got a clue because I wasn't there. But the thing is, it's going to be one of those 3. Two of those 3 teams will get relegated this year. I don't think anyone else is going to get dragged into it. But
what, out of the bottom 3?
Yeah, 100%.
So you're saying Von Dinian, Shoreham, Lancing?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, that's fair enough. We've got our views and opinions.
Who else gets dragged into it?
Yeah.
Have a look at it. Who do you think?
Midhurst.
Well, I don't know. They pull out results, though, don't they? Right, yeah, they do pull out results. Like, who else could? I just can't see anyone else.
I can't see Crawley Down getting involved. I can't see Lingfield getting involved, to be fair.
I think Lingfield will pull away from it. Yeah. I think they will. You know, Steph, who's the Bexhill United goalkeeper, when they lost to Lingfield, and I just think they're going to be able to get enough goals. You know, I think they're going to get goals, and I just think, look, my bet would be Lancing stays up in the current situation. I think out of the bottom three, I think Lancing will be the ones, but it won't be through getting a ridiculous amount of points on the board. It may be just because two teams have been a lot worse than they are. Okay. And I've seen all three teams play, by the way. Obviously, not the new look Shoreham, which you can talk about now, Lee.
Yeah. So just before we let Chris go for the rest of his Sunday evening, just quick, mate. What do you think and what you've seen this season of these big results that have come in with like your 9-0s or your 7-0s or your 10-2s and that sort of thing? What do you put that down to?
I mean, it's a worrying signs for our level non-league football at that sort of step 5. I do think the level is changing massively, and you know, some of that probably, again, some of that will be down to money, you know, but I do think obviously as sides progress out, you know, you look at the sides that have come through the county and moved on. Your Burgess Hills, your Chichesters, you know, etc. From there, it's always going to change. It's always going to change the levels below. I think there's that, and I think maybe the way the lower levels, the 23s, the 18s. Coming into that change as well, you'll probably find a lot of sides have probably got better 18s than what maybe some of the first teams are. But I don't know. I don't think it's a good thing for us to have two teams in the same division having you know 9-0, 7-0 and stuff like that, and that's in our level or in the ones down. You know, it's you don't want that really. Obviously, on a day. You don't know who's got players injured and someone has a purple patch and, you know, and stuff like that. But
it's too frequent though, isn't it? Like it's every week now.
As I say, that's the key. Normally you might get a couple of season or a couple of random ones like that. But it does seem like, was it just the weekend just gone that there was it's not the weekend just gone, the weekend before there was sort of 3 or 4.
Yeah.
People scoring 10 in a game, in a senior football game, 10 goals.
Yeah. Well, you had 9, didn't you, Bill?
No, but I'm saying I started the trend. I started the trend last year.
Chelsea followed it by 1 more.
But look, with all due respect, like again about levels, the Lancing team I had was nowhere good enough to start. There were some gems in it. Eugene Asiki, who's now playing, centre half for Hastings, is doing well. There was a couple of gems, but overall, nowhere near the level. And I think that sometimes comes down to where a club is and what have you. But the gaps between the top and the bottom of some of these leagues is getting horrendous. It really is. And I think it's right. I don't think it's just step 5. It's been step 4. It's been step 6. Obviously, we saw, which I think will be a one-off because there's no way a Tommy Widdington side's getting beat 7-0 ever again. But a big one for Eastbourne Borough, 7-0. Like it's happened from step, like it's happening across the Yeah.
So last, as Mo's just put, last question for Chris, then we'll let you go, mate. One for you, Chris. Rank the following: most to least important off-field infrastructure, budget, player pool, and why?
Question, Mo. I like that.
Yeah, that's a great question. Actually, I would say probably a lot of people would disagree with it, but I would say off-field infrastructure definitely highest for me, player pool and then budget. And people might say the budget, if you've got the budget, then all them things don't matter. But for stability, it might win your promotion one season, but for season after season after season, unless you've got an endless pot of cash, I don't think that happens. Whereas if you get your infrastructure right, and that's all the way down, player pool, even if you've got a budget, you've got to know the right players to bring in that aren't just coming in for the money and not putting a shift in. And then, as I said, it's players gelling and working together. You know, there's been many a side in this league that have gone out, and even this season, I looked at 2 or 3 teams in our league this season with the players they were signing and just went, my God, they're going to be unbelievable. And already they're been stripped down because the players just didn't gel and link, you know. So that would be them 3 definitely would be my own personal things.
Amazing. Right. Well, Chris, we will let you go, mate. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you for coming on tonight and answering the questions we threw at you. Yeah, mate, have a good. Who you got a game midweek?
Yeah, Kingstonian in the Velocity. So on Tuesday. So
keep threatening to come up as well, Chris. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you must do. If you don't get up before, come up for the Worthing game. The Worthing game should be a bit special. So
yeah, definitely. That sounds like a great game to get to. But thank you ever so much, pal.
Cheers, guys. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
See you soon, man. Ta-ra, mate.
Cheers.
Bye.
Okay. What top guy, by the way.
Yeah, Chris, really great guy.
He's like a magician for what he's working on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. There's players not on hardly any money there. Like
he's like water out, you know, wine out of water. Do you know what I mean?
No, you got to give him credit. And I think look, sitting 6th in the table, they might go and threaten. They might go and threaten the playoffs this year. You just don't know. Yeah. But whatever happens, the stability of where they are now means that, you know, the likelihood is Broadbridge Heath will be playing Isthmian League football again next year, which really makes them. That'll be their 4th season at level, 3rd, 4th season. So you look at it like that, and you go that, you know, you become established. Yeah. So and that's massive credit to him, and yeah, it's brilliant to see. It really is.
He's a top guy as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like
nice guy.
You can't hate him. Like you can hate you, Mike. You can hate me. You can't hate him.
Yeah, he's one of those things.
You can't hate him.
So I'll say it quick. I was at Shaw and Wick yesterday. Wick, I think, just wanted to bounce back from their 10-0 defeat in the cup on Tuesday at Three Bridges. And do you know what I've got to say? Wick were good, and they didn't even, to what I saw and what I heard, they didn't even have a full strength side out.
Did he play 5 under 18s or something?
Yeah,
that is worse than like we're now 2 weeks into who like, just out of curiosity, like you were there, how many players has Shawn brought in? Like, what are they doing to turn this around?
I think personally I might have seen probably maybe 2 or 3 new ones. I can't really say, because you're never seeing a consistent squad each week. But look, again, Elliot played well in goal, and again it was another defeat. Where can you see the win coming from? Don't know. But I think what they got to do is they got to look at bringing players that are in their, you know, late 30s that have got the experience of that league, and players that are looking for a club at the moment and just want a bit of game time, and then take it from there. But yeah, I mean, a good win for Wick yesterday. Brought a massive following with them, as they always do where they go. And yeah, just a good day apart from the weather. It was just a horrendous shit day.
Yeah, like I touched on though with regards to that bottom 3. They're in the bottom 2 now, right?
Yeah.
That was the saving grace was the fact that Vardins and Lancing were losing every week.
Yeah.
They've dropped into it now. So it's so important that they get 2 or 3 wins on the board before Christmas. So important, because by that point they could be gone.
Yeah.
Here's one for you, lads. Then
Go on then.
what about Guernsey turning over Roffey 8-0?
I know.
Again, back down to what's going on. Like, I think
they're a different side at home, though.
Oh yeah, of course they are. But
then they've got full strength.
They weren't 8-0 better than Roffey, surely.
Would Roffey go full strength over there? Like, obviously, Hastings in my opinion, Hastings have taken their best player in Jordan Mace, right? Jordan Mace
It looks at pretty. Hang on. I wonder if they lost their keeper early.
Maybe, but like Jordan Mace is obviously, we've got him at Hastings now. We're delighted to have him at Hastings. He's such a player, right? Yeah. And you can see that he really ticked over that Roffey team. Really ticked over. And you wonder, because they got beat midweek as well, didn't they? By 3 or 4.
Yeah, I believe so.
Maybe 5 actually. I know they maybe had a player sent off, or I can't remember. But
check.
Yeah,
I'll have a look now.
But I mean, to be fair, though, Guernsey.
Yeah, Well, no, it was like they played Bognor on the weekend. You know what I mean? Sorry,
was it Bognor? Was it in the cup?
Yeah.
Come
on.
There you go. Fair one.
Yeah. But to be fair, as we know with Guernsey, Mike, when they're at home, they're full strength,
and they'll get 1,000 people there.
Yeah,
they get 1,000 people there. Yeah. The whole game is streamed across the island, like what we'd have on like ITV. It's nuts.
Yeah. Mate, Guernsey are a big club, like a big
100%.
And
they can't travel.
But you have to look at it like this. This is the problem at the moment. The results are crazy. It's like, are we losing? Is the art of defending going a bit?
Are we setting up defending?
Yeah, are we setting up Are we setting up the team?
Is this one of your books? The art of
defending? Because I've suffered 9-0ers, mate. So
tell me about the art of defending.
I don't know. Do teams shut up properly? Do they, on the transition, like when they lose the ball, like how open are these teams? Like everyone wants to play expansive, exciting football, but sometimes you just got to fucking sit in the free zones and keep it nice and like compact and tight. Not everyone's going to be super fit with loads of runners, right? So you just got to pick your moments. And I think a lot of teams don't, and they go gun ho. Or they play free at the back because it's now box free because I think it's the new thing and it's exciting, but they ain't got the players to do it. All box free does, if you're a team that can't do it, is leave gaps there. And if you've got gaps there, you're going to get exposed. So I don't know. I just think football's in another transitional period, I think, like tactically. And look, by the way, I've got my 20-meter swimming badge. I'm no A's licensed coach. But I've watched enough football. I've coached enough football. I understand football, and it's apparent to me that we're going for a bit of another change. And I think that a lot of people are still stuck in their mold of building teams who want to keep the ball and like, not really physically dominating or whatever. And they come up against a side that just want to fucking slam at you, be big, be strong, and you're getting beat. Like Ocean YM to me, like. I need to go and see Giles' team more recently, obviously, because they trained on Saturday, they didn't play. We'll talk about that, I'm sure, as well. But
I want to talk about that, actually.
He builds his teams to be aggressive. He does build his teams to be aggressive. So, I don't know. I don't like seeing these ridiculous results. Even like, and before we talk about Giles, we'll talk about Borough because that's been fucking
that's what we should be talking about.
Yeah,
they got pumped 7-0 yesterday.
Yeah.
So, come on then, let's talk about it. So, Eastbourne Borough losing 7-0 to Torquay. Billy, we'll let you go with this, mate.
Yeah. I'm going to start this with the fact that Simon Leslie, the owner, I've got so much respect for. Like, so much respect, time, love, his family, his sons, Benji, Scott, I've worked with them, I've been around them, and I've got a lot of time for them, a lot. But I didn't like the statement today about online abuse. I didn't like it. And there's a reason why I didn't like it, because it felt...
Hang on. Is this the official one they've released about?
So look,
the club.
Yeah, I'm still on the Eastbourne Borough forum, right? Facebook forum and stuff, and because I want to see Borough do well. Like some of my friends work at the club. Like Ant Scott, media guy, is one of my mates, right? He gets paid. Like I want them to do well because his job could be at jeopardy if they don't, right? If suddenly there's no money or the owner runs away or because they don't want to do it anymore, people could lose their livelihoods. So I've got I don't want Borough to do badly. I don't look at their results and go, oh my God, like, yes, they've lost. But there's got to be a level of accountability. And I think that the wins under Adam Murray, who was, by the way, one of the top guys that I've ever been around in football, by the way, on and off the pitch. He made everyone feel that they were part of it. Everyone. The supporters, all the staff, everyone. Yeah, yes. Eastbourne Borough, I've just seen Arundel, are they still a full-time club? Yes, they are full-time. They are. They were full-time when they nearly got relegated 2 years ago as well.
Explain to people, what is a full-time club?
They train 4 times a week. They get paid full-time wages, which
so
I think...
No other jobs at all?
No other jobs. No. They're full-time footballers. My thing with it is this. When they brought the club, the recruitment, whilst it was a short window, they decided to go full-time, which I think was a massive mistake, in my opinion. This is all my opinion, by the way, right?
Yep.
All my opinion. I want to make this clear. If anyone wants to try and sue me. It's not a problem.
Who Project Wood?
I don't care, right? I do not care. And also, I will never be bullied. So, whatever.
Do you have history with the club then?
Yeah. I was there for a bit.
Okay. I'm listening.
I think the recruitment was poor. Going full time I think that was a massive jump really quickly. And what that done was it limited their player pool. It made all them semi-pro players leave because they couldn't give up their jobs. So they lost a real spine of a really good Eastbourne Borough team that finished in the playoffs the year before the takeover. So it wasn't like Borough, financially they weren't in a great place, but it wasn't like Borough wasn't a competitive football club. That narrative being spun is a lie because it was. They were in the playoffs. So Danny Broad got them into the playoffs, is what it is. But all those lads then went off to Horsham, Whitehall, or wherever, right, and left the club. Recruitment was lots of academy, like
haven't they got the youngest squad in their league by age?
So they brought Mark Beard in as manager. Beardy, a lovely bloke. Didn't give him a squad really to compete. Close to the relegation zone. By Christmas, sacked him, brought in Adam Murray. Adam Murray brought his own players in from up north, kept them up. All right, so he had a little bit more of a say on the signings. So the first question you ask is, right, if Adam Murray's delivered that, who delivered the situation in the summer? Was it Mark Beard? People on record would probably think it's Mark Beard, right? So we'll park that a second. So maybe it's Mark Beard. Adam Murray stays. Adam Murray then adds to his squad. Adam Murray is very hands-on, and they go and nearly win the league, right? In that moment, anything off the field, when it's going so well on the pitch, can be brushed under the carpet. Whether that's treatment of people, and I won't go into individuals, but treatment of people. Whether that's poor, just poor decision making. Whether that's riding the crest of the wave. I don't know. When you're doing well on the pitch, you can make shit ton of mistakes, or you can seem to be a genius. When it's not going well, that's when you're under question. Okay. So Adam Murray leaves. Why does Adam Murray leave? Is another question. But Adam Murray leaves. He goes back home to Kidderminster. It seems all beautiful and all nice. Then all the players want to leave. And you speak to the players, and every single person seems to have the same opinion, right? But they all leave. They bring in Matt Gray, who, by the way, got out of National League with Sutton, right? So he ain't no mug. And he isn't. I've been in negosations with him.
We had him on the SNF part.
Yeah, no mug. Top bloke. Lovely likes to do things likes to play his way. Whether fans like that or not, he likes to play his way.
Yeah, good
and
guy.
then you look at the recruitment and you go, Matt Gray. Yeah, Craig Eastman's gone there. Great, brilliant. He's captain, he's boy. You go, recruitment. Matt Gray. Recruitment. Matt Gray. And you start looking at it and you go, how the hell is this a Matt Gray team? Right, even before a ball's kicked. Then you start looking at the Mark Beard recruitment and the Mark Gray recruitment, and you look at, did that year of success give people too much confidence or control to deliver a certain way, right? Again, I'm just throwing it out there. Don't sue me. Then you look at the team, look how they play, and it not doing so well. Now the fans are starting to ask questions. They go to a fans forum and they're told in the summer, we're going to win the league by Christmas. We know what we're doing. We're going to do this. We're going to deliver that.
This was on the forum.
Yeah, not by the manager, by higher up than him, right? And not Simon Leslie either.
The moon.
We're going to do this. We're going to do that. So the fans are getting on their back. The fans are asking the questions. They're not happy, right? The fans aren't happy. And that's okay. You're allowed to not be happy. Yeah. They're asking the questions. Yeah. Goes on and on. The Matt Gray project doesn't work. He leaves. Matt got a load of online abuse, by the way. He was told he wasn't good enough. But this statement was never put out to protect Matt Gray. But it happened. Matt got a lot of abuse. Matt leaves. Tommy comes in, who legend at the football club, by the way. Tommy Richardson, absolute legend. No nonsense. Like, I've had players tell me that when Tommy Richardson walks into the room, it felt like the headmaster was there, like in the past, and they wouldn't want to do anything wrong because he's got that much respect. Right?
Did he used to play for him, or was he
managing them? He managed them for many years, right? And he's got, you know, it was a very positive appointment, right? But now Tommy's got to deal with all these contracted players from the previous recruitment. That's kind of being thrown on Matt Gray's door, right?
Yeah.
Was it Matt Gray? That's the question.
So what,
the fans are now starting to say, actually, was it Matt Gray?
Are these players with contracts at the end of the season? Then?
Contracted, yeah. So getting people out the door is hard.
Yeah. So if they don't want to leave,
they can stay on contract, and then you've got to spend more money, right? So you get yourself to a situation. You get yourself to a situation where sometimes a manager ain't going to be enough, right? You've got to get players out the door and what have you. But now the fans are getting really irate. There's been fans that have aired their opinion and been shut down and bullied, if I'm honest. Told that their opinion isn't right, not mattered, belittled, been belittled or threatened to be banned or not welcome. And the fans are building. The anger's building. You know, they're hearing stories. They're hearing about mistreatment. They're hearing all these things, right? Right, whether they're true or not. I'm not here to. I know what I know, but it's not for me to go into that, right? Yeah. So they're hearing all these things, and they're starting to build up an agenda against the CEO and the way the club's being ran, right? It got out of hand this week. They lost 7-0. That is not on the CEO, by the way, losing 7-0. Like, that is not. And he should not be taking that result. But the supporters, it's been building. And there's been questions asked. There's been stupid AI pictures of him dressed as a clown put up and stuff, right? Stuff that you're going to get when you're...
Is that what your post yesterday?
Is that the post?
Which one?
With Jason Cundy and Jerry.
Oh, no, not about that. It's just, it was more about the Cundy. Have you ever seen that? Because everyone could get a beat. That's all. Right. It was nothing to do with that. But that comes up. Then you get a few other things, a few other questions being asked, right? And then they've got this big documentary up that kind of paints a picture. And by the way, Simon... Well, Simon's a great salesman, and he's fucking brilliant at it. And I genuinely believe he believes what he wants to do. I genuinely believe that, right?
So what's his doc about then?
About making Eastbourne great again. That's what it is. It's a big promo piece on YouTube. It's a big promo piece on the season last year, right? But it paint. There's areas that I didn't like how it paints Eastbourne as a town that's down and out, and they're going to save Eastbourne. Look, Eastbourne has 3 football clubs, 3 top football clubs, right? Yeah. But you start, and the fans getting angry and whatever, and they're saying what they're saying, and certain fans are getting banned from forums or not allowed to say things, and losing the will to even talk about it anymore, and feeling they're going to get threats of being sued, and someone being blamed for putting Williams out stickers around the clubhouse and all this other stuff, right? Then this comes out about online abuse will not be tolerated, blah 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 blah, and I get it, right? It's horrible to read, but you've got to have thick skin when you're running the club. Like, should anyone be called terrible names? No, they shouldn't, and I don't believe they should, right? But at the same time, come out and own your decisions, right? And own the way you go about your business, because some of it's not right, in my opinion. Some of it is really, really, really wrong, really wrong. But now things aren't going so well. People on the case.
So what happens now?
Well, what happens now is, I'm pretty sure, well, they're all earning good money there, so they probably won't leave. But I think you got to look at it and go, Simon wants to create this real community club. It doesn't feel like it's being led that way, right? When people in fear of their jobs, because if they speak out of turn or have an opinion, it's not the way you can't run through dictatorship, Mike. Whatever you do, you can't. People can slag me off all day long, say Billy did this, Billy did that. It's fine, right? It is what it is. But the next horse I jump on, the club I'm at, or the club I'm at now at Hastings, I'll do everything I can to make that place successful, and I will own it and be outright and forward. The only time I wasn't forward was Lancing, and it was the biggest mistake of my life, because I should have been forward from the front, because then I would have been able to help a club better, I think. But the narrative was the narrative, and I couldn't. I don't know. Simon, Isam Benji, top people, right?
Are they going to go down?
No, I don't think so. I think Tommy keeps them up. I don't think they go down.
I think he does.
Yeah, I think he keeps them up. Tommy's too experienced. He's a wily old fox, right? He knows what he's doing. But I don't see the club progressing the way they want to progress it. I can't see it. It's so expensive to go full time. It costs so much money. And Simon, to his credit, has spent loads of money, like millions.
And so is he entitled to his opinion then?
100% he's entitled.
Yeah, if you spend that much money.
But don't close your eyes. Open your eyes to what's going on. You know, open your eyes a bit. And I want them to succeed. I absolutely love going to Borough. I love it. But things need to change.
Fair one.
No, fair enough. That's fair enough point, mate.
What else we going on then? League 10?
Well, I think what we need to talk about was is that why we still got plenty of time before that comes around? We need to talk about Horsham YM had an extra training session yesterday.
Is this the Forest Road cancellation?
Forest Road cancellation. Obviously, I believe from what Gilesy said was they had problems with floodlights. So they said, let's kick off at 2:00. So you still get the game in. When they put it to Forest Row, from what I've read, Forest Row said no. And then I believe from their camp got the game postponed because also they couldn't get a team together. Now, for me, if they had 11, 13
couldn't get
players,
a team together, or
couldn't get a team together
with enough time before the game.
Yeah, but
which
now,
one?
Well, they're playing it on a bit of both. They couldn't get a team together in time.
Okay.
For the game, but to me, when you look on their Twitter with the amount of players that they brought in that day, I think they announced about 8 or 9 new players.
What, in the same day?
In the same day, they had that day on their Twitter page where it was just player after player after player coming in. But now, when you think about it, if they couldn't get enough players on a Saturday, they're now going to have to go to Horsham on a Tuesday night, which is going to be even harder.
Here's my opinion on it. Right, the rules state if it's like an hour before or that they have to have some kind of enough notice, was it a week or something like that, then they played by the rules. You can see it from both sides. You know, obviously YM had the electrical failures with the lights and just asked for it an hour. They thought that was reasonable. I think they gave them a couple of days notice, but by the rules, they are allowed to refuse that. You know, whether they could have had the players there at a certain time or not, that's another question.
Yeah.
Okay? We're talking half hour, right? That's another. But at the same time, the rule is that, and they play by the rules. So, you know, probably not ideal for either of them to be playing on a fucking Tuesday night either, is it? Let's be honest.
No way. No, it's not.
No one wants that. But
look, let's just be fucking honest. The 2 p.m. move gave him an excuse to not play. Fine. Forest Row need to still work the team out. Let's not bullshit. It is what it is. I'm not having players couldn't get there 1 hour earlier. I'm not having it. So I can be the bad guy here. It's not a problem. I'm not going to be diplomatic about it. If I tell my players kick-offs move next week to 2 o'clock or on Wednesday, when by the way that the floodlight thing was raised, then like I'm not saying your players will get there an extra hour early or extra half hour early to make it work. So fair play to them, done what they needed to do. Now they've got to go there on Tuesday, it is what it is. But it's annoying for Horsham because Horsham obviously are on a good run at the moment, but Forest Row are well in their rights to do it. So whatever the excuse, it is what it is. Like, and I'm sorry I'm being blunt about it.
But end all, that is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, look, I'm sorry I'm being blunt about it, but you know, Lee Penn's got to be in bed by 10. So like, it's not one to debate too much. It is what it is.
No, that's
yeah, it is what it is.
That's fair enough. I have got to be in bed by 10 because I have got work tomorrow. So, but no, Mike, you did say for the game. There was another big win at the weekend. Was it Copthorne lost quite heavily?
Oh, they got pumped, didn't they?
Who was it? Who was it they played at the weekend?
Who did they play? They lost 9-0, didn't they?
I believe so.
Yeah, Infinity.
Infinity.
Sean's lads went away down to Copthorne, put 9 past them. I mean, it's not one of those results, isn't it? You know, had they given up? Have they given up?
I mean,
they're not good enough. That's what it is. Not good enough.
Yeah. I think it's they should have been. Was it they should have been relegated last season? Copthorne.
Do you know the attendance?
Oh God, was this at home to Infinity or away?
So this Copthorne, don't they play at where Horsham play? Don't they?
Oh, the
if I'm right,
whatever it is. Yeah.
I'm looking at full time.
Yeah.
And the attendance is, go on, have a guess. Both of you have a guess.
10.
34.
11. William Wood, that was good. You'd be the guy to take on higher or lower, wouldn't you? Lower and higher.
11 people.
Yeah, backed up by Aaron. Aaron said that as well. I've just looked at it. 11.
Wow. That.
How much is the game costing for them to
put a game on?
Yeah. How much is that costing?
Where do they play? Horsham?
Yeah.
Probably paying 250, 300 for the pitch, plus officials.
Lights?
Probably about 500 quid.
You ain't making that off 11 people.
Even they probably they've made under.
They don't even pay the linesman for 11 people.
How's that sustainable?
No way it is. Go down, regroup, see you later.
Where they normally? Where is their spiritual home? Where's that?
Do they have one?
Maybe.
That's probably why they're there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of the old sharing the grounds so much.
Nah, not having it. But look, it is what it is. Forest Row are doing it now, and it might cause problems for them 3 bridges down the line. But look, lads, it's a scary world out there for football. I think it's always going to be these discrepancies of levels. I just kind of find it really crazy at the moment that the gaps are so big at the bottom.
Oh, right. That explains it then, Brad.
Right. local
pitch.
park pitch. Okay, that'd be why they can't do it then.
Yeah, it is a bit of a surprise result of the weekend, though. Seaford went to Newhaven and turned them over.
Yeah, 3-1 winners.
And I noticed they had Pooley on the bench. Oh, Craigie Pooley on the bench as well.
But,
yeah, I mean, look, got them in town again. They beat a good Reigate Priory side.
Well, we've got it'd be good because we've got Mo on next week.
Wicked.
Mo's on next Sunday, so it'd be good to have a catch up with him and how Godalming are doing, how he sees it going this season. So that'd be good. But gentlemen, we've got some big pods coming up as well.
Yeah.
So we've got Mo next week on the 6th of December. We've got Sutton United manager, ex-Worthing, Chris Aggie.
Love Aggie.
He's on. 14th of December, we've got Mitch Hand.
Oh, I love Mitch. Well, you got Mitchie on.
Mitch is coming on the 14th.
He's always value. He is. He's value.
Yeah. And then 21st of December is the big one. It's the Christmas special. So you all need to be in your Christmas jumpers.
I've got mine ready.
Amazing.
Because
should we do a Secret Santa live?
Let's do it.
I reckon we should. Get there, give a little few festive drinks as well.
But we've got some good guests for that one. So we've got Mr. Seaford himself, Paul Wise.
Go on, Wisey.
We got Tommy Haddon. And then we've got Lowell Edwards.
So there's Lowell as well. Some good
so we've got some big names on that week. And then the 28th, there won't be one. There won't be a pod that Sunday. We'll be back on the 4th of Jan with Hague, Kingston.
Cool.
So we got a good set of pods on the way for everyone to sit and enjoy.
Sweet as, my man. Sweet as.
Just one more thing. Starting next week, it is an 8 o'clock start, not a 7:30 start. So it's a new start time. 8
well,
to
you're
9.
going to be cutting it thin, aren't you?
No, it gives me an hour. Don't worry. It gives me 59 minutes from 9 o'clock to before I got to be in bed. So it's all fine. It's all good.
And yeah,
you've now got time to go and get your slippers on. Get your
exactly.
And
10 to 9.
I'll be doing it from America as well. I'll jump in there.
Yes. Yeah. Complete time difference.
Yeah, it's like 7 hours back.
Yeah.
Wicked. Well, again, mate, crazy numbers. Over 900 viewers now. 950.
It's growing. It's what we want. It's going in the good direction.
It's good. The interaction, you know, you get real people asking real questions, and that people have views on it. You know, it is what it is. I thought Simo was brilliant. By the way,
yeah,
really good.
Big shout out to Simo again.
Yeah, he actually messaged me. He messaged me when he came off and just said, "Thank you for having him on, and you know, a little more promotion for Broadbridge and all that." I said, "Mate, pleasure having you."
Gotta get down there, Broadbridge, for that work.
Yeah.
Sweet.
All right, gents. Catch you later.
Yeah, see you later.
Lab, William, have fun.
Always. I'm not in bed by 10.
Take care, buddy.
Lads.
See you later.
Thank you, everyone watching. Leroy, get to bed, lad.
I will. Don't worry.